2 months ago, Natalie Hart dumped Dani Reyes at an engagement party in front of 47 people. With champagne still fizzing in their glasses and fairy lights in the background, like the universe was providing production design for the worst moment of her life. 3 days later, Natalie was already posting couple photos with someone new. Now Dani's at a boxing gym, hitting a heavy bag until her knuckles bleed, checking Instagram like a woman defusing a bomb, and performing "I'm fine" so loudly her best friend can hear it from 3 bar stools away. She's not fine. She's furious. And she just found out Natalie is bringing the new girlfriend to the Hart family anniversary party. The same party Dani is still invited to. Fake Dating My Ex's Sister by Aurora North. Sapphic. Fake dating. The kind of revenge plan that burns the person holding the match. This is chapter 1, Dani's side. Her anger, her denial, and the Christmas photo she stares at a little too long, where her eyes aren't on Natalie. They're on the sister. Chapter 1. Still standing. The bag didn't hit back, which was the problem. I wanted it to. I wanted something to fight me, something that would swing and crack me across the jaw, and give me a reason to feel the way I felt. That wasn't just Natalie Hart dumped me at Rachel's engagement party in front of 47 people, and I still couldn't stop replaying it. Jab, cross, hook. Again. My wraps were soaked through. My shoulders burned. The heavy bag swung on its chain and came back for more, like it had nowhere better to be. And I hit it again, because neither did I. Reyes! Coach Derek materialized beside me, arms crossed, looking at my hands. You're bleeding through your wraps. I'm fine. You've been on this bag for 20 minutes past your rotation. Then I'm getting my money's worth. He didn't laugh. He put one hand on the bag to still it and looked at me with the kind of steady patience that made me want to scream. Take a break, stretch, hydrate, or I'm pulling your gloves. I bit back the 3 things I wanted to say, peeled off my gloves, and walked to the bench by the mirrors. My reflection looked exactly how I felt. Sweaty, feral, 30 seconds from doing something I'd regret. My curls had escaped the elastic band and were plastered to my neck. My knuckles were raw under the wraps, skin split across 2 of them, and I pressed my thumb into the worst one, just to feel something that had a visible cause. 2 months. 2 months since the engagement party. 2 months since Natalie had taken my hand, walked me out to the patio in front of everyone with champagne still fizzing in their glasses, and told me she thought we'd run our course. Run our course. Like we were a subscription she'd forgotten to cancel. 4 years. 4 years of holidays with her family, of learning how she took her coffee, of holding her hair back when she drank too much, of building a life around a person who apparently had 1 foot out the door for the last 6 months of it. And she'd ended it on a patio, with fairy lights and other people's happiness floating through the French doors behind us, while I stood there with mascara running down my face, asking what did I do wrong. The worst part wasn't the breakup. The worst part was finding out 3 days later, through Instagram, because the universe has a sick sense of humor, that she was already seeing someone. A girl named Suki with a pixie cut and a septum piercing, and the kind of effortless cool that made me want to throw my phone into traffic. 3 days. Which meant it wasn't 3 days. which meant Natalie had been with her while she was still coming home to me, still kissing me goodnight, still letting me believe we were something that mattered. I unwound my wrap slowly, when the fabric pulled at the raw spots. The gym was emptying out, Tuesday evening class winding down, people peeling off to showers and protein shakes, and lives that presumably didn't revolve around hitting things until their hands bled. My phone sat in my gym bag like a grenade. I knew better. I absolutely knew better. I checked it anyway. 3 texts from Carmen, a gif of a cat falling off a table, a "You alive?" and a bar suggestion for tonight. 1 email from work about the Meridian Hotel's rebrand pitch. 1 notification that made my stomach drop. Jess Ramirez posted a story. Jess Ramirez, who was still friends with both of us because some people are emotional Switzerland, had posted an Instagram story from Lucia's. Our place. Mine and Natalie's place. The little Italian spot on Bleecker with the candles jammed into wine bottles, and the waiter who always remembered our order. I tapped it. Natalie, glowing, red lipstick, hair blown out in the waves she only did for date nights, at something off camera with a glass of the Barolo we used to split. And across from her, visible in the edge of the frame, pixie cut and all, Suki, reaching across the table to touch her hand. The caption. Double date night, heart. I stared at it until my screen dimmed. She took her there. She took her to our restaurant, sat in what was probably our booth, ordered our wine, and let someone else touch her hand across the table, where I used to sit and think, this is my person. My thumb hovered over the message icon. I could text Natalie right now. Something devastating. Something so perfectly worded, it would lodge in her chest and stay there. Glad Lucia's is treating you well. Does she know you always complain about the bread? Or, cute. Is she also getting the version of you that cries during dog commercials, or just the fun one? I typed, "You're a fucking cliché. You know that?" Stared at it. Deleted it letter by letter. Locked my phone. I sat on the gym bench with my bleeding knuckles and my soaked sports bra and breathed until my heartbeat slowed enough that I could trust myself to drive. Progress. Carmen was already 2 drinks deep at the Sly Fox when I got there, which meant she'd either had a rough day at work or she had news she needed liquid courage to deliver. Given the way she was aggressively chewing a cocktail straw, I was guessing both. "You look like someone who fought a bag and lost," she said as I dropped onto the stool beside her. The bag wishes. I flagged down the bartender, a tall redhead with a sleeve tattoo and a dimple I might have cared about 3 months ago. "Tequila soda, 2 limes." You always say 2 limes like it's a personality trait. It is a personality trait. It's my most interesting one. Carmen studied me over her glass. She had that look, the one she'd been wearing for 2 months straight. The careful assessment of a best friend trying to figure out if today was a let her joke about it day or a she's actually going to fall apart day. "I'm fine," I said preemptively. "I didn't ask." "You were about to. You had the face." "I have one face, Dani. It does many things." The bartender set down my drink with a smile that lingered a beat longer than professional. Dimple deployed. Under different circumstances, under any circumstances that didn't involve me being a walking open wound with a grudge, I might have smiled back. Instead, I said, "Thanks," like she'd handed me a parking ticket, and turned back to Carmen. So, what's the news? I asked. You've got news energy. I don't have news energy. You're wearing the gold hoops. You only wear the gold hoops when you need emotional armor. What happened? Carmen took a long sip of her drink, set it down, and squared her shoulders like she was bracing for impact, which meant I should probably brace too. The Hart's anniversary party, she said. 35th. My stomach tightened. James and Patricia Hart, Natalie's parents, had been planning this party for 6 months. I knew because Patricia had texted me about centerpiece options back in February, when I was still her daughter's girlfriend, and she was still the closest thing to a mother-in-law I'd ever have. What about it? It's in 3 weeks, and you're still invited. Patricia told me that. She texted me last month, something about how I'm still family. I air quoted it, though the truth was the text had made me cry in a Whole Foods parking lot for 20 minutes. Right. Carmen paused. Cocktail straw. Chew. So here's the thing. Carmen. Natalie's bringing Suki. I put my drink down. To her parents' anniversary party. Her parents who still ask about me. She's bringing the girl she cheated on me with to a family event that I'm also invited to. We don't technically know she cheated. 3 days, Carmen. 3 days between dumping me in public and posting couple photos with someone new. That's not a rebound. That's a relay. Carmen held up her hands. I'm not defending her. I'm telling you so you can make an informed decision. You can go, not go, go and be fabulous, go and set something on fire. I'll support any option except the fire one. And even that I'd consider, depending on what you're burning. I drank half my tequila soda in one pull. The lime was doing nothing for me. She took her to Lucia's. What? Natalie, tonight. Jess posted a story. Natalie and Suki at Lucia's. Our table, our wine. Carmen's face went through several stages. Surprise, anger, the particular expression she reserved for when Natalie did something so on brand it was almost impressive in its selfishness. Of course she did, Carmen said quietly, because Natalie Hart has never had an original thought in her life. She just recycles the relationship and swaps out the girl. That landed harder than it should have. I flagged the bartender for another drink. You don't have to go to the party, Carmen said, softer now. Patricia will understand. If I don't go, Natalie wins. It's not about winning. It's absolutely about winning. She dumped me, replaced me, and now she gets to walk into her parents' house with my replacement on her arm, while I sit at home watching Netflix like some discarded... I stopped. Breathed. I'm going. Dani. I'm going, and I'm going to look incredible, and I'm going to be so aggressively fine that Natalie chokes on her champagne. And how are you going to pull that off? You spent last Saturday night eating peanut butter from the jar and watching Practical Magic for the 9th time. 10th. And that's not relevant. I chewed a lime wedge. I just need to figure out my angle. Your angle? My strategy, my approach. How to show up to that party and make it clear that I am over it, I am thriving, and she made the worst decision of her life. Carmen looked at me with the gentle, devastating honesty of someone who loved me too much to lie. Babe, you're not over it. I could be over it in 3 weeks. People do incredible things under pressure. You cried at a Subaru commercial yesterday. That commercial is emotionally manipulative and you know it. She squeezed my hand. Go to the party. Don't go to the party. But whatever you do it for you, not to perform for Natalie. You've spent 4 years performing for that woman. You don't owe her an encore. I wanted to argue. I wanted to say I'd never performed, that what Natalie and I had was real, that the 4 years mattered even if the ending was garbage. But the truth was, Carmen was right about at least some of it, and I didn't have the energy to sort out which parts. The bartender, dimple, tattoo, patience of a saint, appeared with my second drink. She slid it across the bar with a cocktail napkin underneath, and when I looked down, there was a phone number written on it in neat handwriting. Carmen raised her eyebrows. I left the napkin on the bar when we left. My apartment was quiet in the way that only apartments of recently single people are quiet. The particular silence of a space that used to hold 2 voices and now holds 1. And the one remaining voice doesn't feel like talking. Natalie's stuff was gone. She'd come for it while I was at work, 2 weeks after the breakup, coordinated through Carmen like a hostage negotiation. The bookshelves had gaps where her novels used to be. The bathroom had 1 toothbrush. The bed was a king that felt like an ocean, and I slept on my side of it still, leaving room for a person who wasn't coming back. I stripped out of my gym clothes, showered until the hot water ran out, put on the oversized t-shirt I'd stolen from an ex before Natalie, a Fleetwood Mac concert tee that predated every bad decision, and sat on my couch with my phone and a level of self-destructive energy that my therapist would not approve of. Don't do it, I told myself. I did it! I opened Instagram and scrolled backward through time, past the breakup, past the engagement party, past the staged photos of us that now looked like evidence of a crime. Back through winter, back through fall, back to Christmas. 3 Christmases ago. The Hart's annual Christmas Eve dinner. I found the group shot. Everyone crowded into the living room in front of the absurdly large tree that James always insisted on, champagne flutes raised, faces flushed from wine and warmth. Natalie beside me in a green dress, arm around my waist, mid-laugh. Carmen on my other side, eyes closed because she always blinked during group photos. And at the edge of the frame, almost out of the shot entirely, Liza. Eliza Hart, the older sister, the one who showed up to family events in blazers that cost more than my rent, who spoke when she had something worth saying and otherwise just watched, who once helped me find a wine opener in the kitchen when everyone else was in the living room, and our hands touched, reaching for the same drawer handle, and neither of us mentioned it. In the photo, she wasn't looking at the camera. She was looking at me. I'd never noticed that before. Or maybe I had, and I'd filed it away in the part of my brain that handled things too complicated to examine while I was happy with someone else. Liza, in her charcoal sweater, wine glass loosely held, watching me with an expression I couldn't quite name. Not jealousy, not longing exactly. Something quieter, something patient. What were you thinking right then? The thought appeared, and I let it sit there, turning it over, knowing I should close the app and go to bed and stop looking at pictures of my ex-girlfriend's family. My thumb hovered over Liza's face on the screen. There had been a moment, one moment, that same Christmas, when I'd been a little too drunk and standing too close to her in the hallway outside the bathroom. She'd said something dry about Natalie's toast. My sister thinks brief means under 10 minutes. And I'd laughed harder than the joke warranted and leaned into her, and for one breath, 1/2 second, we'd been close enough that I could smell her perfume. Something clean, expensive, nothing like Natalie's vanilla. And I'd thought about kissing her. I hadn't. Of course I hadn't. I was in love with her sister. I was happy. I was standing in her parents' hallway at Christmas and thinking about kissing the wrong heart, and it meant nothing. Except I still remembered what she smelled like 3 years later. And I couldn't remember what I'd gotten Natalie for Christmas that year. I closed Instagram, plugged in my phone, stared at the ceiling. I'm going to that party, I thought. I'm going to walk in looking like the best thing Natalie ever lost, and I'm going to smile so hard my face hurts, and I'm going to be fine. I rolled over into the empty side of the bed that still smelled like nothing because I'd washed the sheets 4 times trying to get Natalie's shampoo out of the fabric. I'm fine, I told myself. I almost believed it. Dani Reyes is lying in a king-size bed that used to hold 2 people. She's scrolling through old photos. She's slightly drunk. She's telling herself she's going to walk into that party and be so aggressively fine that Natalie chokes on her champagne. But the photo she can't stop looking at isn't of Natalie. It's the sister, standing at the edge of the frame, watching her. She's been watching for years. Fake Dating My Ex's Sister by Aurora North. The full novel is available now. Link in the description. And if you want the scene that was too hot for Amazon, 6 months later, the same alley, the same blazer, and nobody stops this time. The free bonus chapter is waiting. Thanks for listening. See you next episode.